Welcome back to another exciting episode of Aaron's Opinion, the podcast for blind people, where we talk about critical issues in the blindness community. I'm Aaron Richmond. Tonight, like all other episodes, is of course copywritten by me, Aaron Richmond, and Aaron's Opinion. Thank you. This episode can be watched right here on YouTube, where most of you watch. In fact, I'm very glad that one of you does watch this show on YouTube. You'll hear why in a minute. Also, follow us right here on iTunes, Spotify, Anchor, wherever you like. Don't forget to follow on Facebook, on Twitter, and even consider becoming a patron on my Patreon page. We would appreciate the support. Don't forget, telephone number to call me. You want to talk, you want to complain, you want to send in a text message, or you have questions about Aaron's Opinion. I would love to talk to you. 1-240-681-9869. Aaron's Opinion 6 at gmail.com. How are you? By the way, we're glad you're doing well out there, listeners. I am so glad that a particular person in the YouTube community by the name of John Phillip, actually subscribed to our channel here on Aaron's Opinion. And we are really honored and really glad to have every podcaster in the entire world be welcomed right here on Aaron's Opinion. John is a blind podcaster, or as he calls himself, the Blindcaster. He joins us from the Philippines. Very good morning. How's it going over there?
Yes, hello, Aaron, and everyone. Good morning here in Manila, Philippines, and thank you so much for this chance, this opportunity.
My pleasure. My pleasure, my friend. You are always welcome. And now that you're in Aaron's Opinion, you couldn't leave even if you wanted to. So you're going to be included forever now that you're here. So let's get into one of the first things that I like to ask is, if you want, a lot of my guests, but certainly not all, and sighted people are always welcome on the show too. But most of my guests are blind. So do you want to start off by sharing with us your blindness journey? In my case, as I said, my name's Aaron. I'm American, living in an undisclosed location somewhere in the universe. I became blind at birth, and I have glaucoma. I go to an ophthalmologist every couple of years, and stuff like that. What about you? Do you want to share with us your vision loss, or your story, or were you born blind?
All right. Well, Aaron, my story is really kind of sad and
Oh, you do not. You do. Okay. In that case, You do
dramatic.
not need. You do not need to tell us if you don't want.
No,
Okay.
I am. I want to share this experience because people, will understand more because sometimes I feel that a lot of the sighted ones, uh, like a stereotype, they when they see a blind person, they always think that they're born blind or something. Well, in my case, uh, I just got blind 10 years ago, and the reason for my total blindness was uh, I got shot in the head by uh, by two robbers. I was on my way to my uh, duty. I was a registered nurse here in the Philippines. I was a surgical unit nurse uh, on my way to my evening or night shift graveyard duty, and unfortunately, I had to stop. I'm driving my motorcycle to my work that time, and my motorcycle, the rear wheel of my motorcycle I felt was flat, so I had to stop to check it out and you know work things out. But then I remember two guys were approaching me at that time, so I just thought that they're going to help me out, but uh, then they just declared it's a holdup. This is a holdup. So I I gave them my wallet, my cell phone, everything, but uh, one of the robbers, he pulled out a pistol. I saw that. It's a little small pistol. I think it's 22 gauge pistol. Then he just pointed at my temple, the part, my head, and the last thing I heard was a pop. So after that pop, I just went down and I felt blood gushing out from my head, and uh, then I passed out. And I just woke up. I think that's the following morning, and uh, that that day that started my blindness, my total blindness. So that's the reason why I got blind. That's it, Aaron.
Holy moly. Okay, so we've had everything on the show now. I heard another story from a guy who got hit over the head with a brick.
Mm.
Someone flicked a thumbtack into their eye, but now we have a survivor, a victim of basically armed robbery. Oh, whoa, okay. Well, so how do you want to talk about the transition? I'm very sorry that happened, my friend, but
Yeah.
would you like to transition to speaking about um I have to be a little bit curious. Whatever became of the robbers? Were they
Uh,
ever apprehended, or did they just start off and never to be heard from again?
well, my sister helped out the authorities here, and I think one of the robbers, got caught and got jailed, and I don't know what happened to the other one, and that's just about it. The last time my sister
Right.
followed, you know.
Sure, sure. So in the end, one of the robbers was arrested, and put in prison and jailed, and the other just fled, just started off. Yeah,
Yeah.
I see. Well, that's horrible, man. Okay. Well, would you like to talk more about your transition into the blindness world and stuff like that?
Yeah, well, it's really, uh, it was really a hard transition, living 33 years, seeing a lot of things, enjoying, visual things around you. And like I said, I was a nurse, and part of being being a health professional is your, I mean, subjective and objective duties. You have to see your patients, help out your patients, and being being going towards life of a blind person. Well, like I said, it's really hard, and it's uh, it's really depressing. I went into depression, and well, my psychiatrist told me that I went to this post-traumatic stress uh, disorder, and he gave me a lot of. He recommended, of course, lots of talk with friends and family, and some medicine to help out with the anxieties, things like that. But when I've come to somehow accept my condition, uh, things just fall into place. When I first learned about Braille, writing Braille, and the reading Braille, it was fun because it's like it's like I'm in another culture. I see when people, or when blind people read and write Braille, it's like it's a culture for the vision impaired people. And then and then somebody taught me to use, gadgets, like Android phones, and then at that point, I was able to reconnect, especially on my social accounts, social media accounts, Facebook, reconnecting with my friends and family, and that event, learning things, accessible gadgets for the blind, it really lifted up my uh, my positivity, my hope, and well, I want to share this to you, Aaron, and everyone listening. The most, or the greatest transition, or the greatest event that happened to my life, my blind life, is that I have a strong reconnection, a rebirth or some sort with Jesus Christ, and I have a renewed faith in, uh, and now a strong faith with the Lord Jesus Christ, my Lord and Master, to serve Him. And one of my service, I consider one of my services this, sharing podcasts, sharing video blogs, connecting with other vision impaired people around the world, and it landed me to you, Aaron. And this journey, my blind life journey, uh, it landed me to one of uh, a YouTuber or a podcaster, Mr. Aaron Richmond.
Well, I am so touched by all of that. I'm so glad to hear it, by the way. Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, yeah. I think, what you said is really important, that it's important to reconnect and it's important to have a good sense of the blindness community around the world. We definitely kind of have our own community, if you ask my opinion. We definitely have our community, and it's really, really fascinating to be, a member of this,
Yeah.
of this type of community. So,
Yes.
okay. Now, as far as, your work goes, are you still able to work in the hospital in some capacity?
Here in the Philippines, no. Well, there's still this. I'm not sure because I don't want to use discrimination. It's a strong word, but hospitals here, any medical industry here, are not yet open to accommodate uh, vision impaired uh, vision impaired workers, even if they're qualified. But
Mm-hmm.
I did have a stint. I did work for a couple of years. I think that was 2012 to 2014. I became a licensed massage therapist here.
Okay. Well, that
Mm.
that is fine. Would you like to tell us about that journey and about, exactly what that is?
Yeah. Well, massage therapist is already considered part of the healthcare uh, practitioners here in the Philippines, and of course all over the world. And and the difference of being a vision impaired massage therapist is that uh, I experienced that I was more focused when doing all the technique, the massage techniques, and uh, that that particular action being focused on the massage therapy techniques. those things are what our clients or what Filipino clients are looking for. And actually, I have foreign clients as well because massage industry here in the Philippines considered a tourist thing here. And yeah, the experience was really nice. It was fulfilling, but I had to stop. Uh, but yeah, sorry. But before I stopped practicing massage therapy, I became a clinical instructor for my fellow vision impaired massage therapists. Teaching them to get a license because here in the Philippines, like in the US, we need to pass a licensure exam, and I was part of this small group to teach and help them get their licenses, my fellow vision impaired, and it was a great experience for me, and yeah, that's about
Right. Excellent. That's really good. Um, so what are some of the things that people need to learn to get into massage therapy, and what types of massages, what types of techniques are taught in these courses? Tell us about it a little bit if you want.
Yeah, well, since the group I've joined for to teach my fellow vision impaired therapists, I was assigned to uh, review or teach anatomy and physiology and microbiology because of my experience or my being a nurse. So they assigned me to that part. But learning massage therapy is really a great thing, and you can earn. It's you can earn regular income from it. And the techniques, well, we have we follow the Swedish massage technique. We also follow uh, the what do you call this? It's really a long time.
That is
The,
that
the
is
the thumb
fine.
pressure, yeah, the thumb pressure, the pressure points massage,
Okay.
particularly what we call Japanese shiatsu. Now we also teach that technique before. And I was part of the massage therapy industry, so things like that, and it's really great regular income profession for vision impaired here in the Philippines.
So good. So good. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
hmm so there, in the Philippines, when you're working as a massage therapist, um, are you required to work like in a spa, like in a massage, like for a company, or
Yeah.
can you okay, yeah, because in the United States, the way it works, and it does vary from state to state, but some people, once they might start out in a company, and then they might branch off just doing their own thing, kind of opening up their own business and like traveling around to different people, just performing massage therapy, individually. Are you able to do that there in the Philippines?
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, the organization I joined before was an organization led by vision impaired as well, and the group they manage several branches in the malls here in the Philippines. So we were assigned, or I was assigned in a mall, in a massage clinic. We wear our like scrub suit or scrub uniforms. We also wear masks and and yeah, basically follow the health protocol for massage clinics here in the Philippines, including having a license to practice, just like in the U.S.
Good. Yeah, excellent.
Yeah.
That's really important. Sure, sure. All right, all right. Um, so let's transition now from that, okay, to how you got into podcasting in the first place in YouTube. So, how did you develop this podcast, the Blindcaster?
So like I said earlier, I learned to use the gadgets like Android phones and speech assisted laptops. So I, I learned, or I searched for this the new fad like vlogging, video blogging and podcasting. So first, I have really no idea what these millennial things are, you know, they're getting into. And so when I've listened to several YouTube videos, uh, you know, done by vision impaired themselves. So I thought I thought of I think I can do this. I mean, why not try? So actually, my first blog is on YouTube. I uploaded some cover songs, but then again, I've heard the term podcasting. So what is podcasting? If I remember correctly, you see, Aaron, I like really watching TV series from US, like particularly Criminal Minds. Sorry if I like the TV series Criminal Minds and NCIS, and one of the episodes on that TV series about some it's, it dealt with uh, podcasting. A character there was into podcasting. So I got curious. I searched for podcasting uh, through YouTube as well. So uh, mostly, I've noticed mostly the podcasters there are cited, and well, then within this thing about a month ago, uh, I've heard blind people are into podcasting as well. So I search for people, personalities that are doing podcasts, and when I search on YouTube and on Buzzsprout, uh, a one search uh, I heard was your show, Aaron's opinion. So I opened it up, and your one of your episode was you were interviewed by uh, I'm not real. What's the name? Her channel was you're into in collaboration with Unsightedly Opinion. I'm not sure if you remember that.
Indeed, yeah, yeah. I um I did interview. It went both ways. Actually, that was a two-way street. She was
Yeah.
on my show and I was on her show. So
So, so
I'm pleased to know that the collaboration helps to spread the content around. I think that's exactly what
yeah.
happened. Hmm.
And so when I opened that up and listened to it, my curiosity about podcasting got really strong. So I thought about it, and you gave tips about, you know, when you do your podcast and consider your topics. You must always think about your audience, audience.
Thank you for listening. You've proven to us that you see this is why you should listen to episodes. That's exactly what I said.
Yeah,
I remember that, and it's true, and we're glad that, and so I'm glad that you're in my audience. That's why
yeah.
this is interesting. Of course. Hmm.
So then I opened Buzzsprout, search for no Buzzsprout, other podcast hosting, and yeah, that start that took me into uh, formally opening a podcast account.
Excellent. So good. All right. So first of all, what is your podcast called?
Well, I'm starting with like like every other podcasters, they started, and of course, as you've mentioned with your episodes, I'm starting with monologue. So right
Mm-hmm.
now, I'm sharing my experiences as a blind person, and my struggles, and my opinions about uh, issues. Well, my last uploaded podcast was about silent discrimination. That was my topic, and
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
just uploaded
That
about
sound that
5 days
sounds
ago.
by the way, that sounds oddly familiar. You see, and
Oh,
this is exactly some of the points that I've been making for years, is that I think the experiences that blind people have are
yeah,
quite similar from country to country. Now, our societies are very different. I admit I've never been to the Philippines. I know it's a completely different society. However, I don't doubt that we have had very similar experiences in life, maybe in different ways, but I think we've had a lot of the same experiences in life.
yes,
Uh,
that's
right,
I
right.
do believe that as well.
Yeah, I'm suspicious that this is becoming a bigger problem, that this silent discrimination and these
Yeah,
problems that we're having all over the blindness community, it's not just happening, guys, it's not just happening in America, it's not just happening in the Philippines, it might be happening in your country too. So that's
yeah,
why it's really important when you think it's happening to become knowledgeable about it, to research it and to get to the
yeah.
bottom of it. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. So,
Mhm.
so I've chosen that topic one of my initial episodes, and I think it's really it's an undying thing for not all, not only for the persons with disability. Uh, it's a incurable pandemic. You know,
Mhm.
uh, most persons with disability, not only the vision impaired, but everybody uh, with disability is experiencing or are experiencing silent discrimination. It may not be loud or in words, but being vision impaired, being blind, your sense of your feelings, your other senses get so you know heightened or yeah, increased of your other senses, like your feelings. So even at home, you can feel that something's wrong, something's different. They may not, your family or relatives may not uh, let you hear their comments, but you can feel that there's still that silent discrimination. Like I've said in my episode for silent discrimination. I'm doing it in three parts. First one is about my experiences at home, and then my next episode will be in the community, in our society here in the Philippines, and then my uh, my last part will be in social media. Those are my. So I think you will understand me with that part. Discrimination, silent discrimination in social media.
Yeah, yes. Yes, I completely agree with you that we need to cover this topic.
Yeah,
Which is why which is why we're talking about it now. So,
yeah,
yeah. So what is, and I'm sure listeners will want to go give some of your episodes a play. What is a really critical issue in the area of silent discrimination that you want to talk about? And imagine that we're talking to someone who's sighted who might not necessarily be fully aware of what we mean. So I know what you mean, but what do you mean? Tell a sighted person what is silent discrimination and give a clear cut example from the Philippines if you want.
okay. Silent discrimination. It's like uh, what I've said on episode, my podcast. It's like here at home. Uh, for 10 years, they've already uh, lived with me. My relatives. I'm actually with my nephew right now, uh, and the boyfriend of my sister. She's actually already working there in California with my mom. So what I consider a silent discrimination is that uh, whenever I go around the house, like from my room towards the living room, there are things scattered in my on the pathway, or you know the floor. It's like there are chairs, stools, uh, an electric fan, a stand fan, you know. So when I roam around the house, I get bumped and slammed to these things. So uh, and another thing is that our living room has this partition, a door towards our dining area. So when I always remind my nephew and people here in our house that to have that door open wide or closed shut, as if it's half opened, my face gets slammed on that door. So that really hurt. So and it's not really nice. So I mean, we've been living together for for about 10 years now. So I'm expecting a lot that they know my routine, they know my everyday pattern. But the thing is, they kept on forgetting. I mean, I'm not blaming my family or my relatives living with me right now. Just that I'm expecting them to, you know, uh, remember always that to consistently remember, consistently be reminded by themselves that they're living with a blind person. So, you know, and that I consider as a silent discrimination. They may not
Yeah.
intentionally
Outstanding,
do it.
and
Mm,
yeah, I completely agree with you. That was, if I was giving an exam, I'm a teacher. If I was giving an exam and I asked that question on an exam, you just got 100%. It's a great way of verbalizing it to a sighted person. When you are unwilling, it's an outstanding answer, John. When you're unwilling to make these little accommodations in the places where we live, that is an excellent answer. Now, I would ask, I'm not justifying the behavior. Just to clarify, how old? What is the age of the nephew?
Actually, he's now 18.
Okay.
He
So an
just
eight.
turned 18 this
So
year.
I think you know what I think. I think an 18-year-old needs to mature up and either keep the door open or closed. Okay? If you said the nephew was 5, I would have said, well, it's a little bit more difficult to tell a
Yeah,
5-year-old to close the door. But if you're 18, an 18-year-old should be able to understand close the door. Or
yeah,
or even in my second language of French, fermez la porte. Or in Tagalog, however you say it in Tagalog, either way, that door needs to be closed or open.
yeah. Wide open.
Wide open.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yes.
actually, when I told you about my sister, she was with me from first years from until July of this year. Oh, I'm sorry, June of this year. She just got in the States last June. Year. So she was with me from 2010 to yeah till June. So that period, well, she was really. I can't blame. I really can't blame anybody. The thing is, for 10 years she was with me here in the Philippines, but uh, there were inconsistencies with the accommodations, like you said, and but uh, I've learned within that 10 years. I've learned to control my temper. I learned to be cool and just repeatedly remind them, but still it's tiring. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Every day you have to remind them, keep this door closed or open. Things like that. Keep the
Right.
electric fan away from this area so that you can walk through here. There, that's the thing. If
Sure. Sure. Well, I think that you're really on to something with your podcast. That's outstanding. That's perfect.
yeah.
Um, so as far as the podcast side, like, is it on iTunes? Where can people listen to your audio, by the way?
Right now, I have an account with Buzzsprout. Just learn to link it to iTunes. I hope it's already running with iTunes. There's procedure, and also on Spotify and Google Podcast.
Cool,
So
cool. Now, another important question. Are all of your audio episodes, are they all on your YouTube channel?
not yet. I've not uploaded on YouTube, but it's also a nice strategy, or good strategy to, like you're doing audios on iTunes, have also here on you're uploading episodes on YouTube.
Right, right. Well, I
You,
tell you
you,
what,
yeah,
right, sure, sure. Well, we here at Aaron's Opinion, we're gonna. I tell you what, for right now, until you. Hello.
remember to charge your machine. Wait.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. So we at Aaron's Opinion, we're going to put the Buzzsprout link to your podcast in the description of the video and in the description of this episode. So after we get off here, if you can send me your Buzzsprout page, your public site of your Buzzsprout, and then we'll get some plays over there for you, for sure. I would, yeah. What I've discovered is the strategy that you, and The other thing that's interesting about podcasting is that it's a skill, right? It's not something anyone learns over a period of time. In my case, I'm a teacher. I've been teaching for 5 years. I love talking, love educating, talk and talk and talk all day. I have
Yeah.
so many opinions. I just love talking to people all over the world. But you really have to practice knowing exactly how to do your voice, what to say, what not to say, how to phrase certain things, how to introduce your product. All of these things have to be practiced over many years of many episodes, turning one page at a time, one upload at a time, and then you're doing it, and then it becomes very easy very quickly. My advice, if you can, John, try to get to a point over a period of time where every episode of your podcast should have audio, and it should also have a YouTube video to go along with it. So it should be people should be able to decide, do they want to watch on YouTube or do they want to just listen to what you have to say? That way, you're accommodating 100% of the audience. Some people listen on their commute, Some
Yes.
some people watch at home, when they're at work or something like that online or doing other activities.
Right.
So
I'll do.
so yeah. But yeah, that is so good. So, what are your um, what are your dreams and goals for your podcast?
Oh, wow. Well, right now I'm just uh doing small things first. I just want some hoping for you know uh followers or listeners for this time being. Hopefully, hopefully it would um, you know experiences with podcasting and blogging. Hopefully monetization will come. uh, uh, it will be a regular because right now I'm not really working. I'm just you know my income, my pension, disability pension.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Really hoping that some my know my time or my podcasting will be part of a regular. um,
Sure. Sure. Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, what are some other activities that you like to do?
Um, what I really like to do, I really love teaching. Like could manage a an online with the upcoming massage therapist. You know, I could develop with regards to subject and compact um, in the Philippines. Yeah, part of my ambition or
Right. Sure, sure. That would be good to be able to continue to teach, do more teaching work, teaching massage therapy, and helping others to get into that practice and start their own businesses up, right? Correct?
right. Yes.
Very good. That
'Cause,
is so.
well, I really like science. I was uh, physician. I want to be a doctor, but anyway, and that's why I'm just glad God gave me this literally, and it's not everyone uh, have a second life. Then there are people escape death in another life. Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Sure, sure. Well, that is so good, John. I am really glad that you're now a member of Aaron's Opinion. As I say, you're on my list of all the great guests we've had from all over the world. I'm so glad you're here. As we come to kind of the end of all of my questions, for one, if you can ask me one question, what do you really want to know about me?
Um, one point right now is that um, how did you know um, what you are right now, practicing right now, you know, podcaster as an educator. How did you this your journey? You know,
Sure, sure. Well, basically, if I understood you well, basically, as I said, I've been a teacher, been teaching English for 5 years, um, and so I always enjoy teaching people and talking to people from around the world, right? And I also spend an enormous amount of time listening to podcasts. And I was listening to many podcasts for the blind community, and I noticed that they were just simply not really approachable. So
mm,
I wanted to create a shortcut in the podcast ecosystem where blind people, or as I say, anyone, can come onto my podcast and tell their story and have a great time. That's why we created Aaron's Opinion. As I say, the podcast for blind people and for everyone else, where we talk about critical issues in the blindness community or any issue that we need to talk about. So,
uh,
as far as how, that's how I got into it. And what I'm doing now, I'm recording as much as possible and practicing and practicing and practicing until eventually you upload videos and then people like you, great people like you all over the world, see them through, recommendations, through research. These episodes trickle around apparently. So,
I agree. Another one, another question.
oh, sure. Do you want to ask another question?
Yeah, that's another question.
Yes, yes.
Um, you know, it, we have this pandemic. Uh, what what advice can you give uh, all to all who are affected by pandemic, uh, in terms of economic and
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a great, yeah. So basically, I think if I'm understanding, you want to know what advice do I have for blind people all over the world who are dealing with the stress and the effects of the pandemic, right?
right, right.
Yeah, that's an excellent question. My advice to the world and to especially blind people around the world is for one thing to relax, to stay at home a lot. Obviously, try to just hang in there. Try to find things that you enjoy doing, whether it's listening to Aaron's Opinion or other great podcasts from around the podcast sphere, from all the countries all over the world. Try to find a great podcast to play. try to find a great podcast to listen to, um, and um, try to just, as hard as it is, try to just hang in there and be glad that you hopefully do not have the virus yourself. That's about all the advice I can give, and outside of it, um, it is definitely, it is a definite challenge for blind people and everyone else. It's a
I
challenge for
agree.
everyone. So that's my advice, and those are two really good questions. What else do you want to know?
Um, I think that's about it for me.
Okay, all right, all right. Well, that is fine. So, I tell you what, John, if someone wants to get in touch with you, what is the easiest way for you, for a listener to get in touch with you, your team, and your podcast?
Well, I like to invite one to podcast. Uh, Put in on your Google or Firefox. They're the Blindcaster. Uh, one of uh, one of the searches will pop in, uh, my name there, and YouTube, please like and subscribe to my the Blindcaster John Philip. Search that on. Uh, Name. And, well, my email is on dot arcacho arapho at outlook.com.
Here, say
That's
that. Yeah, can you say that? So John, your audio, it is not your fault, my friend, but your audio kind of cut out there. So they didn't get the email. Um,
okay.
do you? Let me just ask this way. Can someone easily find your email address if they go search on your Buzzsprout?
Uh, yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think that my email record or register on my
Okay,
was
here I tell you what. The signal's a little stronger. I tell you what. Here, can you say the email address one more time and try once more?
okay. My personal email is on period Artacho. My last name is that's spelled for Apple, R for Rig, C for Charlie, A for Hotel, O for Oscar, and that's outlook.com.
Okay, all right. Guys, I tell you what, John, I feel bad, but for most of the listeners, they wouldn't have heard it the second time. I tell you what, we will direct people to your Buzzsprout. And the other thing that's kind of not clear is, so is your podcast called like the Blind Caster? Because you've used a couple different names. It's a little unclear. I think yeah.
The podcast name is the Blindcaster. All in one word, Blindcaster. The Blindcaster, all in one word.
Okay, so the official name of your podcast is the Blindcaster, as in
Yes,
Blindcaster.
correct, correct.
Okay, excellent. Okay, yeah, because and it is important to try. One of the things to try in podcasting, and I'm not saying it's easy. It's not, but people get the audience gets very confused very quickly. So try to use your title the same way every single time, so that people start to associate the title with your voice over a period of time.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Because your YouTube, as far as I can tell, your YouTube channel is called John Phillip, right?
Oh, yeah. The Blindcaster John. But
Ah, okay. maybe, what, guys, maybe it's been a while since I've looked at that channel. Maybe, yeah, you know what? Maybe in the title and the handle of the channel, maybe it does say the Blindcaster. Anyway, guys, um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, good. Yeah, I think it does. I think they will find it. So as I said, if you can just send me over your Buzzsprout, that is your home base for your podcast. We will certainly get that into the description of the video and on the description of the podcast. So we'll see how that goes. Okay. Are there any?
I'll do
Is
that.
there? Cool, man. Is there anything else that you want to tell our audience in English?
Okay. Well, thank you, Aaron. Thank you so much for giving time and the chance to share my story and uh, my podcast experience. Thank you very much. And it's a privilege. Uh, I think, a lot of first for me, first time to get a collaboration or an interview from a fellow person, or a fellow vision impaired person from uh, across the world.
Yeah.
First for me and first time for me too, and and help with your help as well. Uh, really unfamiliar with Zoom.
Oh, you've done fine. You've done great.
And thank you and praise God. Thank you for this chance. Thank and I really hope that you will support. Everybody will support all the vision impaired, all the blind casters, blind podcasters
Okay.
everywhere.
Okay. Let's support all the blind casters. Oh, I like that. Support all the blind casters. That's cool. That's cool. Support all the blind casters. You know what, John? On that note, I could not agree more. All right.
Thank
This was you did an absolutely perfect interview. You're incredibly patient, and I want to
you.
thank you for your patience and your courage and
You're
strength for coming onto my
an
show.
incredible person as well, Eric. You're doing a
Thanks.
lot of things for this, for our.
And it all just starts here.
Yeah.
After this, well, um, let's don't please don't hang up, but let's say, ladies and gentlemen, I wish you the very best of health from around the world. Tonight's episode of Aaron's Opinion, I certainly enjoyed that one. That was John from the Philippines, a blind podcaster, or as he pronounces it, a blind caster. I kind of like that. I kind of like that. Yeah, John the blind caster. Yeah. That's gonna be really good. I really love that blind caster business. Um, so as I said before, thank you so much. If you guys have contributions to this show, of course you may send me an email. By the way, if you're overseas, if you're listening in all the countries around the world, probably email is actually the easiest one. Aaron's Opinion 6 at gmail.com. Actually, we know it works because John emailed me. So we don't have to worry about if it works. It works, right, John?
Yes, definitely. It works.
Cool. Or you could also give me a call, 1-240-681-9869. You can also send a text message to that number too. All right? Don't forget, follow us on Facebook, follow on Twitter, comment below on YouTube. Consider becoming a patron on my Patreon page. John, I wish you very good health. Everybody else around the world, I wish you
Thank you,
very good health. Thank you so much. All right, all of us podcasters, as I say, let's keep blind casting all over the world. Let's upload another blind cast. I absolutely love that. Help one person today. Help 1 million people tomorrow.